This is Rostra, the St. Theodore Guerin Junior Classical League podcast, where we bring the lessons of classical study into the light for the benefit of all.
Welcome back to another episode of Rostra. I got Amber Sawchuk with us today and talking about something that, I got to be honest, I think might help a lot of people plan their vacation. Should they ever want to take a trip to Italy, especially to Rome. So, Amber, start us off. Just what is your topic? And also, along with that, why did you choose it?
My topic is ancient sites in modern Rome. I picked this topic because I've visited many sites in Rome that are still around today, and I'm fascinated by the Roman architecture and the history behind what the sites were used for.
Okay, so ancient sites in the modern world. I want to stop right there, and you say you have been to Rome. Have you been more than once?
I've been twice.
You've been twice. Family trips, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay. How long did you get to spend there each time, roughly?
The first time we went, we spent about 2 weeks there, and then we went there last summer, and we spent a few days.
Okay, so you spent some significant time then in Rome and have gotten to see a lot of stuff. Talk to us. What are some of the sites that you've seen? And we'll talk about the fact how neat this is that you've got the ancient right alongside the modern. But what are some ancient sites that you got to see?
I've seen the Colosseum, the Ancient Forum, the Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, the Arch of Constantine, and we visited Palatine Hill, and we saw the Vatican too.
And Vatican, which obviously dates back a ways. The Vatican Hill certainly actually is part. It goes back into antiquity in terms of geography. So you would expect, and I hate to bring a modern perspective onto this, but let's be honest. Modern buildings tend not to last that long, all right? I mean, after, 10, 20 years, the local McDonald's is looking pretty shabby. And quite honestly, businesses will often just tear down a building and just rebuild because it gets so much use. How good or bad a condition were some of these things in? Because we're talking stuff 2,000 years old now.
Yeah, most of the buildings were in pretty good shape, considering they're pretty old, but there were a few sites that were looking a little rough, like they were pretty beaten down, but for the most part, most of them were in pretty good shape for them being in the ancient times.
And I think you have to take that into account, exactly like you said, given how old, and we're talking about out in the elements, right? Rain, snow, sleet, hail, all these kinds of things. Modern pollution, wars, all kinds of stuff. And yet these things are still standing. Some better condition, some less so. So you saw all that you listed, obviously you saw from the outside. Were there any that you got to get up close to, or if it was a building that you got to go into, anything like that?
The Colosseum, we were able to go into the amphitheater and see where the gladiators would fight. In the Ancient Forum, we were able to walk around, but most of the other places you could just visit the outside.
Just visiting the outside. I distinctly remember the first time seeing the Colosseum. The impression I had was, as we turned the corner of whatever street it was, I saw the Colosseum coming into view, and I was like, oh, there it is. It's almost like this friend that I knew online but had never met. And all of a sudden, there is this friend in real life, and then the forum, actually just getting to walk around in and amongst the ruins and so forth there. So talk to us a little bit. What was your favorite of all those particular things? What was the best that you enjoyed the most?
I would probably have to say the Colosseum would definitely have been my favorite. It was just really cool to just stand there and realize what happened there in the ancient times and how we can still see it now and how it's in perfect condition, considering.
Yeah.
Or Trevi Fountain, just
Oh, sure.
the architecture there.
I have to ask, did you throw a coin into Trevi
did.
Fountain? There you go. It's supposed to guarantee your return to Rome. So, yeah. And you talk about what happened in the Colosseum. Obviously, lots of death, lots of suffering. And yet, we go to battle sites and we visit memorials, sometimes of stuff that was horrific in the past, as a reminder. And then also, as you look at that architecture, you realize this is our modern stadiums, football stadiums, soccer stadiums, and sports arenas, really structured very much like the style of the ancient Colosseum there. So let me ask you this. What was your impression in seeing the ancient stuff right next to and along with the modern? I mean, so you could be standing right there looking at the Colosseum, and you got to step out of the way because there's a car coming behind you, right? So what was the reaction to that?
I was pretty amazed to see how the world has kind of changed and adapted.
And of course, we always have if we're recording during a day here at a school, sometimes we have our bell there. So you're talking about how much, things have changed?
Yeah, and how they had their version of how they would build things and how it's changed now to more modern times. And I just thought it was really interesting to see that change from then and now.
Sure, a lot of change. Now, there's some styles of architecture that are similar. You can look at things today. We mentioned with stadiums and so forth. Obviously, we do a lot more with glass. A lot more with metal, right, in terms of our architecture, more of the stone and the concrete and so forth there. Is there something, you've already been twice, and you've thrown your coin, so you're going to go back. Is there something that you would, of the things you've seen, that you would really like to see again? Or something you've heard about but haven't seen and would really like to?
I would definitely go back to some of the sites I've seen. I really enjoy seeing the Colosseum and the Pantheon and Trevi Fountain and all those common sites, but I'd like to see the markets of Trajan.
Yeah, markets of Trajan, sure, Roman emperor.
And the Circus Maximus.
Yeah, where they had the chariot races.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Well, Amber, thank you so much for that. I think it's going to spark a lot of people to perhaps change some of their travel plans as they think about where they might want to go on vacation. Before we wrap this up, I just want to ask, is there anything else you want to make sure that the listeners get a chance to hear?
No.
Think that pretty well covers stuff. Well, there you go. Amber is certainly inspired, I think, again, some people perhaps to go to Rome and check out those sites. Amber, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you for listening to Rostra. You may check out all our episodes on Spotify and follow us on social media at GuerinJCL. That's at GuerinJCL.